Rika the Warpultress here, and welcome back to Without a Voice. So last we left off, Elowyn spent the night at Cassidy's house, and they slept in the same bed, and they had this sweet little moment, and the art got really cute. So we are on day 6. I feel like Elowyn is she's not, I think they're really implying that she's not human. She's some kind of, maybe some ancient entity, or maybe she's someone who was cursed, or I don't know, but we'll see. But I feel like things are about to get, I don't know. When the sun blazes down, I soon begin to wish for rain, but when you've gone away, my dear, I soon long for the sun again. Yeah, I feel like things are about to take a dark twist because, if any of you didn't see the first episode, just another warning, the game said that there are depictions of gore, there's topics of homophobia, incestophilia, I think that's how you say it, just a lot of really intense things, so the dark turn is coming, and I feel like it's coming soon. So just so you know. Also, I forgot about the incestophilia thing, and Cassidy has a brother. So, but we'll see where that goes. She's the only character so far that has, you know, I mean, Elowyn mentioned having siblings too, but she said I think they've died, or they've, you know, become another entity, life form. I know she was talking about the trees, the wisteria trees, and are they trees? Are they like tree spirits? Who knows? Cassidy woke alone, a cold space beside her. Again, she's gone in the morning. What could she be doing so early? It's highly suspect. She could no longer ignore the gnawing feeling of dread. Perhaps she would ask Elowyn upon their next meeting. Still, what a wonderful night that was. Each precious memory had been carved into Cassidy's heart. She yawned and slowly pulled herself out of bed. With or without Elowyn, she would have to get on with her day. Oh. Cassidy hummed a little tune to herself as she cleaned up and prepared breakfast. Sitting down at the table with her bread and morning tea, she glanced at her stationery set left by the vase. What has happened? Perhaps I should write Alexander a letter? Sure. Write letters to you, bro. It's important that my brother knows what goes on in my life. After finishing her breakfast, she set herself to the task of writing to Alexander as usual. Yet her heart was not all in it. Her handwriting was sloppy. Though always lonesome before, the former princess's life now felt so much emptier without Elowyn's presence. Though she could be accustomed to such solitude, she could barely concentrate on her usual chores. To think that a few days could change a person so. In a lull in her activities, Cassidy's gaze went to the window. Deep in the forest, her beloved wisteria tree stood. She could see it so clearly in her mind's eye. She does admire Elowyn quite a lot, so. Elowyn is very much like that tree. She said as much herself. So beautiful and haunting and alone. The other woman's words from the night before weighed heavily on Cassidy. She passed the rest of the day peacefully, but with a sense of unease. Unease. Yeah. The next day came, and still no Elowyn. Cassidy was left with nothing but her own thoughts, and thinking of Elowyn perturbed Cassidy greatly. In the last several days, the woman had embedded herself into Cassidy's life like a thorn. never expected to become close to another person again. She thought about Elowen and the things the other woman had said. The hours spent together that were so few but felt an impossible eternity. Just yanked one of my hairs out because I was fiddling with it. I never did ask her about her feet. Why are her toes always curled? Despite how she looks, she must be much older than me. She has a proper way of speaking and always says she's lived in the forest a long time. 1,000 years, give or take. And with the intricacy of her clothing and her manners, something did not quite add up. Elowen did not seem to like people much. Certainly, it did not seem her presence in the wood, despite how long it had been, was known to many. Alexander most probably would not have sent me here if it was known that a beautiful woman was living alone in this very wood. Where did Elowen come from? Why was she alone? She still had no satisfactory answer. And oddest of all, I still have not seen her eat. Get over. Say it. Say it out loud. You're a mermaid. Does anyone know what I'm referencing? If you do, you're amazing. If you don't, you're still amazing. Cassidy suddenly realized that all of the things she knew about Elowen pointed to something potentially horrible. I mean, just because she's an alien doesn't mean that's a terrible thing, I guess. She'd been so overcome by the woman's peculiar charm and beautiful looks that she had overlooked something. Cassidy shook her head. Perhaps she was jumping to conclusions too quickly. I must be a little lonely, that's all. I haven't seen her since that night. Wasn't that like just the night before? She can be blunt, perhaps, but I believe she means well. I care for her deeply, and she... I think Elowen's been helpful and you know, and nice to Cassidy, but I don't think we know for sure if Elowen really cares for her. Seems like she does. I'm just thinking from Cassidy's perspective. Because Cassidy's aware she doesn't know much about Elowen. Okay. ... We're not sure. Cassidy thought of the letter she had written and sent to Alexander only yesterday. I ought to have written more about Elowen. Perhaps he would have advice. Oh, the music stopped. Or he would be angry that I am once again consorting with another woman? Oh, she had a past interest, love interest? If I leave her, if one day Alexander allows me to leave, what else awaits me? Is a political marriage truly my only means of escape? If I can be useful to the kingdom in any way, is that better? Will my life no longer be considered a waste? Girl, you don't have to be a princess. At least this kind of princess. Doesn't sound like your kingdom's all really that great. Did you ever truly love me? I mean, I guess you can make Cassidy's train of thought whatever you want. Which is, I guess, the point. This is more passive, I feel like. Let's have Cassidy have some doubts. Alexander, did you ever truly love me? Is the precious younger younger brother, is the is the precious younger brother that I once knew completely gone? Are you truly the one who has been writing me these letters? Oh, that's a good point. Is he the one writing? One negative thought spiraled into a dozen. She let out a long sigh. Her thoughts had taken her on a not-so-merry chase. Not so merry-go-round. If I dwell on these thoughts, there will be no end to them. She brewed herself a cup of tea to calm her nerves and began reading a new book. From time to time, her eyes went, somewhat nervously, to the window. And so, evening fell. And morning came, signaling a new day. Cassidy was sitting on the divan. Is that how you pronounce that? Divan? Enjoying a warm cup of tea that, as she read the latest book her brother had sent her. Or whoever had sent it to her. Who knows if Alexander's the one sending her stuff. It was a darker tale than she was accustomed to. The tale of a tragic young mermaid. Do you smell that, guys? I think I smell parallels, potentially. It seemed to be a fairy tale from a faraway land. Certainly Varamir had simpler, happier stories. Or perhaps those were the only ones she had been allowed to learn. Sheltered. Goodness, every step she takes feels like walking... Wait. Okay. Goodness, every step she takes feels like walking upon knives. Oh, she's reading The Little Mermaid. How dreadful! How could this author be so terribly cruel? I know, what's up with children authors? Oh, was the original Little Mermaid book for children? Perhaps that is what ails Eowyn. I don't think Eowyn's a mermaid. She might be a nymph or something. No, that would be ridiculous. Suddenly... Suddenly the front door to the cottage swung open without knock or warning. Cassidy dropped her book in alarm. Who is it? Oh my gosh. Eowyn, you really let yourself go. Oh my goodness. There was something dreadful standing in the doorway. A monster. Oh, by fear and awe. Not like a monster, but like a monster. Cassidy muttered this under her breath, overcome by fear and awe. I should distort her voice somehow. It is not safe here. Yet no matter the appearance, Cassidy would never mistake that voice. Oh, okay, maybe I shouldn't. Melodious. She had found it not long ago. Beautiful, she thought its bearer until this very moment. She would be hard-pressed to describe Eowyn as beautiful now. What did you say? There is a large army approaching from the east. They wear your colors. Alexander. Cassidy could not help but gasp. The monster nodded. I'm afraid so. You must stay with me. Cassidy bit her lip. Alexander would not harm me. If anything, they must be here to protect me. From this monster. Yes, of course. Quickly grasping the situation, the ex-princess calmed herself and tapped into her many years of diplomacy lessons. I will come right away. Then, would you mind waiting for me outside? I will gather my things quickly. Yes. It won't be but a moment. Of course. The monster turned and left through the still open door, its movements slow and measured as always. So she's considering Eowyn a monster now. As soon as Eowyn was outside, Cassidy flew forward and slammed the door shut. Cassidy? Ignoring Eowyn's sad, feeble voice, Cassidy locked and bolted the door. For good measure, she dragged the divan in front of it. The door shook as Eowyn tried to enter, but would not give way. Oh. Why? How could I possibly heed the words of a monster? Sneeze. Who knows what you will do to me once you have me outside? She must be a demon, here to corrupt me. Just as Alexander said to the barons. I allowed your beauty, your charm to corrupt me. I have sinned, but I will sin no longer. Why? Begone, monster! Darken my doorstep no more! Eowyn said nothing in reply, but then wordlessly, the monster ambled towards the windows. Oh no, I didn't think about blocking those. But the monster made no move to enter forcefully. It just stood there with the same blank look on its face. In some ways, Cassidy felt that was worse. As Eowyn moved just enough to... had Eowyn moved just enough to follow her words to the letter? To darken the doorstep no more? It seemed like something she might do. The thought made Cassidy's heart ache ever so slightly. And the night passed like that, with Cassidy pressed against the door in fear, and Eowyn standing in place, still as a tree. Watching. Is this not day 7? Eventually, after what felt like a lifetime, the sun rose. It's finally morning. If the army truly is coming, I wish they'd get here sooner. The day breaks. Cassidy looked to the window in alarm. Could it be that Eowyn hadn't slept either? Eowyn stood there still, looking, the art's really pretty, looking even now haggard, more haggard than she had the night before. Oh, her skin, it's like melting and peeling. And her hair too, it looks like it. Or maybe it's just, I don't know, tree textures. The monster's gaze was unfocused. It seemed not to be looking at Cassidy, but rather through her. I can't tell if the narrator's calling her a monster, or if Cassidy is. I have failed. I could not understand the most important thing. I could not convey my love without a voice. Roll credits. Sorry, intense moment. So this wisteria must wither in the harsh light of 7th day past. So she is a tree. Oh, before Cassidy's eyes, Eowyn crumpled into wilted wisteria petals and dust. Oh. The monster, the woman, was no more. Deep in the wood, a wisteria tree, once adored by a maiden, withered and died away as well. Oh. When bargain is struck, its terms must be met, else take on your fate and more suffering beget. Ash to ash, and... Is that it? Is that it? Hold on, let's go to extras and see. Endings. Are there 3? Oh! The princess cannot save the demon from her curse, so she is cursed. And Eowyn is a demon. Tries to warn Cassie, but frightened and suspicious of the world around her, Cassie locks Eowyn out and awaits rescue. In the morning, time runs out, she fades into wisteria. Ash to ash. So there are multiple endings. So this is the one I got. I wonder... characters. Ooh, gallery. Let's look at the gallery. Because the art's really pretty. Oh, locked. I wonder, okay, what can I do to maybe get a different ending? I don't know if there's much I can do now at day 6 because there are only 7 days. We're gonna kind of speed through this. Highly suspect. Perhaps. Okay, let's say no. Shook her head. Change a person, so I think deep understood. Yeah, the narration's pretty. I wonder if she's there. Okay, basically gonna choose what I didn't choose before. Somewhere in the forest. Sense of unease. Is it that, like, certain options make her choose Alexander over Elowen? I don't know. Like, not explicitly, but kind of. Because it's said that Cassidy is not trusting of the world around her. If anything, Elowen's the one who's been kind of instilling that in her and telling her those things. If she thinks more about Alexander, then she'll see Elowen as a danger, maybe. Curled. She never eats. Something that don't quite add up. Elowen is strange. Elowen is unearthly. Okay, so this... What did I choose last time? She's just strange. Okay. So Cassie just thinks, oh, she's just weird. No. Instead of, you're not from this world. More to it than that. Okay. Wasn't there? And she... Elowen cares for me. Alone. Her thoughts naturally drifted to her brother. If I leave here... to marry a man. And he knows full well that I cannot bear to do that. Oh. We get a flashback. Once upon a time in the kingdom of Vermeer, a pair of twins was born. It was a fortuitous event. The sister, being the elder, was marked for queenhood. All expected bitterness and resentment from her younger brother, but there was no such thing. Alexander absolutely adored Cassidy. They spent almost all their time together. The only others Cassidy spent her days with were beloved handmaidens handpicked from noble families to serve her. As Cassidy grew, it became more and more apparent that she could not lead. She had little interest in politics. She much preferred socializing, spending her carefree days with her bosom friends. She and Alexander made a pact that when she became queen, he would rule as regent? She could not abdicate. She could not abdicate without making the kingdom appear weak, but she would defer to him in all matters. The promise was made. Oh, she became regent. Alexander went brought to study, begging the king and queen to allow him to go. It was begrudgingly granted. Though he was gone but a few months, it was hard on his sister. She wrote him letters daily, and he was more than happy to return those gestures in kind. Yet as time went on, she wrote to him less and less. She was finding solace in her handmaidens. He thought all was well. During a holiday, Alexander returned to the castle for a surprise visit. He missed his sister too much. Surely she, too, had longed to see him. Imagine his surprise, indeed his utter horror, when that doting brother discovered his beloved older sister in bed with another woman. The handmaiden was banished. He would not speak of this to another, for his sister's reputation, for his own reputation. "You were lonely, weren't you?" he asked. "Yes, so unbearably lonely. And she was so sweet to me." He cancelled his studies abroad at once. They were again every day together. Still his sister's inclinations could not be ignored. A coy glance to a maiden there, a lingering touch there. He could not spend every minute with her as much as he wanted to. And as their parents talked of strategic marriages of the twins' duties, Alexander was overcome with dread. Me? Marry? When my eldest sister might steal my bride away? More than that, it was unbearable to think of her married to some man, a man who would be king. In the meantime, more handmaids were quietly banished. And just when Alexander thought he might go completely mad, the unthinkable occurred. The twins' father, the king, dropped dead in the middle of dinner. She would become queen, the sinful older sister. It was not her fault. Other women were drawn to her like moths to a flame, and she had a deep loneliness that could not be satisfied with anything but constant contact. She loved everyone but him, and she would be queen. It was with great surprise that Cassidy went before the Parliament of Barons. Their decision was swift and decisive and cruel, a vote of no confidence. Why? Princess Cassidy of Varamir, you stand accused of immoral acts. Her blood ran cold as her charges were detailed. Alexander had not spoken a word of it. Of that she was sure he had promised, yet with every handmaiden forced out, gossip followed. The young prince, so salacious and hot-blooded. Everyone just knew what was going on. To become pregnant out of wedlock, what scandal. No one ever knew that not a single one of the handmaidens was ever with child. Every one of them was sent to the countryside for a period of confinement that would never end. For a period of confinement that would never end? Then it's not really a period, is it? No one but they knew the real truth. To become pregnant out of wedlock. And how? Why do you deny it? Can you possibly deny it? A word, gentlemen. All eyes were on the prince. Surely he, so personally affected by the rumors, would want her gone most of all. The punishment for what she stood accused of was death. Yet it was not death that the prince suggested. Exile in the forest far from the castle. She did not know better, had been corrupted by outside forces. They could not be so callous as to sentence a young girl to cruel death. The barons were troubled, but the words from he who would be king were powerful. His older sister had not inherited all of the charisma and charm. And so it was decided, and Cassidy wept grateful tears. Her beloved brother, he who had all the reason in the world to blame and despise her, he'd saved her life. Wait. Who got pregnant? I'm confused. Who got pregnant? Pregnant out of wedlock? Who got pregnant? None of them. It wasn't Cassidy, was it? Cassidy, of course, knew not of her brother's true thoughts and intentions, but that is no reason for you to remain ignorant of the full truth. Okay. Wait. I'll trust in you and wait. Okay, let's see what happens there. She knew the truth, perhaps. Whether I trust, I will wait for your decision. So, will I get the same ending? New book. So evening fell. The rest of the story was lost to time. Did King Alexander completely erase his sister from history? And what of the maid and Elwyn? It would forever remain a mystery. Perhaps you two will soon forget. Huh? Okay, so... it's hard to read and also try to really focus and comprehend what you're reading, like, out loud. But so her brother found out that she's lesbian, and, you know, reputation and all that, kicking maidens out. Word got out because of gossip, and then King dies suddenly, and people are like, you're on trial for being in bed with another woman, and they mentioned something about pregnancy, which I wasn't sure, like, Cassidy's not pregnant, right? What a scandal, it said. Yeah, I mean, day 6 is kind of too late in the game to really, I guess, change much. Let's see what ending that was. A story unfinished. What are the rest of the story? It has been lost to time. Perhaps if you make different choices, you will find an ending to this tale. So that's ending 6. I wonder what happens if I call Elowen a monster. She's truly monstrous. I'm just really confused about the whole pregnancy thing. That's kind of a weird thing to just throw in. But he exiled her because... It's weird, like, he loves her, but he's also, like, peeved at her at the same time. Kind of thing. His, Alexander? I don't know. Sounds like a crummy guy. Kind of possessive, maybe? Anyway, but yeah, I kind of want to play through again and, like, choose different things to see what endings we can get. But yeah, wow. But that first ending caught me off guard. It's like, it was so abrupt. I mean, this one's pretty abrupt too. Let's see. I can kind of see the rest of the endings. They're grayed out, but first one is dining as the lovers do. The second one is a doubled-edged thorn. I think that's what that says. For too late into your arms. Shadow's grasp. I wonder what the worst possible ending is. Who knows? But anyway, I think that'll be it for Without a Voice for today. Excuse me. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. That was interesting. Very interesting. I still don't quite understand that whole flashback text sequence, but I just know Alexander's like, oh my gosh, she's gay, and that's not good, and exiled because, you know, they found out, and he wants the throne, right? Like, he wants the throne. I don't know. I think I have to just kind of review it, but anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. Oh, poor Elowen in that first ending. Please leave a like and subscribe if you so desire, and I hope that you are all having a wonderful day. Sorry, my mind went blank. Yeah, I hope you guys are alright out there, wherever you are. Oh, I'm tired. Alright, well, I'll see you all in the next one. Love and blessings!